Good evening, everyone. My name is Terrence Pruitt, proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Beta Sigma Chapter, and I want to welcome you to our Sigma Virtual Hour. Thank you all for taking time out to come out to take part in this. Our speaker for the day will be our very own Sister Jackie Surratt. She's a good friend of mine, and I want to read a quick bio for her before we let her get started. Once again, that's Jacqueline Surratt. She received her bachelor in tax accounting from Penn State University in 1996. Right after she started working for a small company as an in-house accountant and the HR block for tax experience. After 2 years working at H&R Block, she was the top selling tax professional in the state of Virginia. She then chose to become an EA with the IRS and opened her own bookkeeping and tax company in 1988. With her company growing every year, at the end of 2023 tax season, she prepared 305 personal tax return and 115 business tax return. She also worked full time as a senior accountant at a local accounting firm in Virginia Beach and have been working there for 11 years. Accounting is not only her profession, but is her lifestyle. She got into the field to help family owned businesses and everyday people from getting overtaxed and overcharged by tax sharks and greedy lawyers. She's a single mother of two beautiful daughters. One is a police officer in Portsmouth, Virginia, and her other daughter is handicapped, so she have full-time job as well with that. She has two grandchildren, an active member in four nonprofit organizations, and believe that if you do not take care of your community and bless others, God will not bless you. She's also my Eastern Star sister and a daughter in one of the shrine courts in the local area. So without further ado, I'd like to present to some and introduce to all my friend, sister, Jackie Surratt.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for including me in this introduction to business or professional accounting services. So anything you guys like to ask, I'm open for discussion.
Okay, as of right now, I don't see any questions in the chat. So if you have any just basic knowledge of doing taxes or stuff, being that we're in the middle of tax season, just go ahead and give us those type of recommendations of, how to file taxes, whether you business or home and stuff of that nature. Just general background of taxes, and then we can probably proceed from there.
Okay, one thing I would love to address, and I see it a lot when I get payroll from new people, from companies with their new employees. Somewhere the system has failed of people knowing how to fill out W-4s and VA-4s. Without reading, they're checking boxes. There's boxes that say you're exempt. So when they get their first paycheck, they're like, why do I not have no taxes out? You got to read the form. Make sure that you're reading it completely. You're not over taking dependents during the year. Make sure you don't hit the exempt button. And especially if you get paid weekly, you want to file single and zero because your checks are smaller, so they're not going to take as much tax out. But when you add that over 52 paychecks, it hurts you at the end of the year. So that is a big thing that I see daily with people not knowing how to fill out these forms, and they're very important when it comes to your paycheck. When I see that for a first client, I always inform them after I do their taxes, you need to change your withholdings because it's constant. A lot of people want to claim their self, but when you claim yourself, they're not taking out the full 10% that you need to take out during the year. So best thing is single and zero, but some people can't afford that. So single and one at the most. The other thing that I noticed, a lot is small businesses. And a small business can range from 50,000 to 500,000 gross, where people don't know the write-offs they can take. A big write-off for any business is mileage. There is trackers on iPhone and Androids in the Play Store for free tracker. So as soon as you get in the car and you're doing a business errand, so say you own a restaurant, and you're running to Restaurant Depot or Costco's to get supplies or whatever, you turn that mileage on. When you get there, you turn it off. When you leave, you turn it on because mileage is a big deduction. The other thing is little things people don't think they can write off for a business. So a business office, paper towels, cleaning supplies, toilet paper. Those are big things that add up quickly that people are like, oh, I didn't know I could write that off. Rule of thumb, keep the receipt. You never know what you can and cannot write off. And for each business, there's different write-offs you can do. With landscaping, there's two kinds of write-offs for fuel. So you have your fuel in your vehicle, which mileage is usually better, but you need to keep your receipts for your off-road fuel, which that is for your lawnmower, for your weed whackers, for your blower. It's a higher percent of a write-off than using it as regular fuel. So, you guys can put my number in the chat or whatever. I do free consultations. Anybody ever have questions, they can give me a call. I'm always open to help people because I don't work for the IRS and they get enough people's money. The richer you are, the more tax deductions you get. The hardworking middle to high middle class, we have the highest tax bracket. And people don't understand write-offs and stuff they can use. Also, an IRS law is if you have a business and you've lost consistently for 5 years in a row, it's now considered a hobby and you can't use it as a write-off anymore. So you have to be careful on that side too. It will cause a red flag. It will cause to be audited. So that's the basic things that I noticed the most.
Okay, thank you, sis. Also, I was wondering what type of tax credit do you recommend people to use when they do their taxes?
Tax credit or tax program?
Credits slash programs, things that they can use to better, get a bigger refund, whether it's personal or business.
So unfortunately, right now, because of the tax laws that the president enforced the last time he was in office, there's not many credits at all. He took away the standard deduction of 4,050. To itemize as a single person, it has to be over $19,000, which that would be medical expenses, property tax, mortgage, and charity. So right now on the personal side, there's really not many write-offs. But the best program I would say is out there for people to do it self would either be TurboTax or Tax Slayer. H&R Block is very expensive. Online Tax Act doesn't give you all the deductions you need. So I would definitely go with TurboTax or Tax Act or Tax Slayer. And Tax Slayer is only $9.95, where TurboTax, I believe, is like $39.95. So if we're doing it yourself.
Okay. So for people like me who's not really good at doing taxes themselves, doing those two TurboTax and Tax Slayer, are they pretty self-explanatory? So you'll be able to follow the steps, would you recommend that let a professional do it if you're just kind of squeamish like I am?
So if you have no knowledge, I'm gonna be frank, so excuse my language. Shit in is shit out.
Okay.
So if it's not put in the proper places or you miss a number, it's going to cause a problem. I would always suggest you try it first because tax professionals can be very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have the knowledge and you're really worried about it, I would have a tax professional. Now, if you do TurboTax, they do have experts online that you'll ask and they will log in and help you. They
Okay.
charge you, but they do have professionals that will log in and help you of where to put the stuff at.
Okay.
But then again, any questions, I can help. I'm always open to help and teach people because I didn't get in this to get rich. I got in this to help people.
Okay.
So,
So
as you know, my fee is very minimal.
Yes, I do. Trust me, I do. I've used you for years, so yes, I do. So you hear the rumors that the later you do your taxes, the faster you get them back, or the earlier you do them, it's an issue, and you may get audited or something like that. In your expert opinion, do you think those rumors are true, or what do you say in those instances?
Okay, so the earlier you file them, people got to remember the IRS doesn't even open till the end of January. So they usually open between the 20th and the 26th. So they're not accepting them before then. So if you file in the beginning of January, they're just setting in a queue. Now, if you don't have earned income or child tax credit, you're going to get your tax return within 14 and 21 days. If you have earned income or child tax credit, you are not going to get your deposit if you do it in January or the beginning of February until the end of February. And then after that, you'll get them within 10 to, they say 10 to 21 days, but you usually get it within 14 days. Now, this year, people have been getting a refund in 5 days. But that was until yesterday when he fired 7,000 IRS workers.
Ah, okay.
So I don't know. People I filed 2 weeks ago, they got their money in a week. So I don't know how it's going to go right now because he had fired so many IRS workers. You might be looking back at the 24, 21 days. I'm not really sure right now. But word of thumb, if you file in January, you're not going to get your money to February, beginning of February. And if you have earned income and child tax credit, you won't get till the end of February. And after that, it's usually 10 to 21 days.
Okay. Okay. So being that
And
you just told, go
there's
ahead.
no, I'm sorry, there's no such thing if you file early, you're going to get audited. That's a
Okay.
rumor. That is not true.
Okay,
They
good.
prefer people to file early.
Okay. All right. So, with being that a lot of IRS workers got let go, do you think that would delay a lot more of the returns that people are when they file their taxes, delay it longer than it would actually would delay it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So if we delay it, do you think let's say well not even delay, what do you think would be the penalties for late filing or not even making your payments after you file and find out that you owe?
So the thing with the IRS, if they owe you money, they're going to take forever to pay you. They'll give you a small amount of interest on the money that they held. If you owe them, that doesn't matter. You're going to get penalized immediately.
Okay.
So I would never suggest waiting to file your taxes later, an extension, or anything like that, because they're still going to come after you full penalties.
Okay.
If they have, just like during COVID, I don't know if you remember, but they put the instead of doing April 15th, they did the deadline May 15th. But people that um filed in May, they backdated the penalty to April 15th when it was supposed to be filed.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Even though they extended it, they backdated that penalty to April 15th when it should have been paid by.
Okay.
So it's never a reason not to file on time.
Okay. All right. Now, with that being said, when filing taxes, I know it's a broad question, but who do you think needs to file taxes? What age group? How much you make and stuff like that. When you say filing taxes, who should really be filing taxes?
Anyone that has federal taxes withheld, because if you make a low income, but you do have your taxes withheld, you're like, say, a teenager working, they're going to file their taxes on their parents are still going to claim them, but they're going to file a tax as a dependent of someone else, and they'll get their little 60 or $100 back.
Okay.
Um, Now, if they made under the standard deduction and they didn't have any taxes withheld, they do not need to file.
Okay.
But anyone that is self-employed and gets a 1099 NAC, they have to file taxes because they're going to owe taxes on that money.
Okay.
Seniors that only only income is Social Security,
Hmm.
and it's under the standard deduction, they do not need to file. So usually you'll see people in their like mid-70s that their income is just Social Security. They don't file taxes either,
Okay.
if they're under the deduction.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So I know you mentioned earlier to keep your receipts, but what other documents do you recommend having on hand when filing taxes?
Social Security card and birth certificate to verify name matches.
Okay.
Your W-2, interest from your banks, broker statements. Um, Man, I could go on for hours on that statement. Because
Okay.
I'm the one that I want to give you all your deductions and anything you could do. But the main thing is W-2s, 1099s, bank interest statements, bank dividends. A 1099-B is a broker statement. So that's if you're like with Edward Jones or whatever, and you go online and you buy and sell stocks all the time,
Hmm.
they will send you a 1099 broker. Where people try to file early, they usually don't send those out until the end of February, so people have to amend their taxes. Um, all But then you want to do also as far as deductions, your mortgage statement, your personal property tax for your vehicles, all charitable donations. One thing people don't tell you, and I let all my brothers and sisters know this in my organizations. Our organizations are nonprofit.
Hmm.
Our dues are a deductible.
Okay.
The other thing I tell them, so that would be something you want to bring. You want to add up all your expenses for if you're going to what do we do? All of our annual events we have to go to that we pay for registration, we pay for travel, we pay for hotel.
Hmm.
All that is a deduction under charity because it's a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
So you want to keep up with that. The other thing you want to keep up with is your non-cash deductions, meaning that if you go to um Goodwill and you give stuff and you get that little door tag or whatever,
Hmm.
keep up with that because if you don't have a receipt, the max you can claim is $500. But if you have the receipts, you can claim the value of the items that you gave away.
Okay. Okay. All
So
right.
that's what I suggest you bring.
That's good to know because some of our brothers in our my chapters, they dual qual, so they do the same traveling and stuff we do in the desert and stuff like that. So that's a good thing that you brought that up, so we can, because we get receipts and stuff from that all the time from when we travel.
Now, this is what I'll say as well. When you're buying ball tickets or event tickets, most of the balls, you got to buy through Eventbrite or PayPal or whatever. Keep those receipts because, again, you're paying a nonprofit organization.
Hmm.
But what I always suggest is write the check, pay the lodge, and then the lodge buys group tickets from the other lodge
Okay.
because you have proof it went through your lodge with a receipt.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
So
it's because we spend so much money on these nonprofit organizations.
right. So when you do it as a group one check, so how did you get credit for it in your own personal tax for that?
Because you wrote your lodge a check for your portion.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
The other thing I'm meant to say as well, and I slipped my mind, for Christmas and the Easter egg and Halloween, we donate toys for the children, we donate
Hmm.
candy, we donate all this.
Hmm.
Keep those receipts because that goes into your non-cash deductions because you're donating that to a nonprofit organization to help your community.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. I like that. Okay. All right. So I noticed we're building up a couple of more casinos here, and the Portsmouth Casino seems to be running really well. So how do you deal with taxes on the winnings that if you're lucky enough to make some money gambling, how do you deal with the taxes in that issue?
Okay, so you would get it's called a WG. It's a gambling winning form. Um, you have to win over $599.99 before they give it to you. So $600, they will give you a gambling form. Um, you're gonna pay taxes on it, but keep up with your losses because you can take your losses up to your winnings.
Okay.
So now there are some casinos, MGM Grand, MGM does it, Rosie does it. I'm not sure. I can tell you since I've been open, no one has brought me a winning from Portsmouth yet.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
get them MGM Graham, I get them from the lottery, and I get them from Rosie's a lot. You can get printouts if you're one of those members that have a card, and they will have on there how much you spent for the year
Okay.
and winnings. So you could take your losses up to your winnings. So I don't know if Portsmouth does that because I haven't got a form from them yet, but the lottery does not do that. So if you're an Abbott scratcher or you buy $50 a week worth of numbers, keep those losers so you have proof that you spent that much money up to your winnings. Then
Okay.
you zero it, then you zero it out.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good info, sis. On a selfish thing, I know the answer to this, but I'm asking it just in case anyone on the live would want to know. Uh, church tithes and offering, can that be taxed?
It is a tax write-off.
That's what I mean. Yeah, tax write-off. You can get
Yes,
credit for that.
yes, yes. That also goes on your Schedule K or your Schedule A, where that's where I was telling you at itemizing your charitable donations, your mortgage interest, your property tax, and your medical expenses have to be over the standard deduction.
Okay. Okay. That's good. So let's say you're 65 years and you're single, but you only earn no more than 13,000, let's say $14,000 a year. How do you do your taxes in that instant?
You don't need to file.
Okay, so you just be good to go?
As long as you don't have anything withheld.
Okay.
If you have something withheld, you're going to file to get your money back.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So now, if we wanted a deadline or extension, how do we go about getting that?
So for business extensions were due on the 15th. So business returns are due March 15th and personal is April 15th. So
Okay.
for business, you would file a 7004 form before March 15th. And then for personal, you would file, I just forgot the form number. Excuse me, but that would
Yes.
need to be filed before April 15th. And that is for business extensions are due then September 15th and personal are due October 15th when you file
Okay.
an extension.
Okay. So what would be the reason that you would give for asking for an extension? What is that they would say,
There's
okay, okay.
you just
So you
file one because you want to.
okay. Okay. All right. You
Now,
big.
let me explain something with filing an extension. The only business tax return that owes taxes is a C corp. So if you extend your C corp to September and you owe taxes, they're going to take that penalty back to March now.
Okay.
People don't realize that. Now, a partnership, an LLC or LLP, which is a 1065 return, and S corps, they get a K1. So the profit or loss on the business goes on a K1, which goes to your personal taxes, which those are due on April 15th. If you file an extension and you don't file your taxes until October 15th, they're taking that penalty all the way back. So that's
Okay.
where people need to be leery on these extensions because they don't know that you're going to pay 6 months of interest and penalties for filing the extension.
Okay. That's good information because I didn't know that they sent it back like that. So that's good. So it's probably better just to file them. If you don't have to do extension, just go ahead and file it and get it out the way. Pull the
And
magic
put you,
off.
and then call and get a payment arrangement.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good information, sis. Good information. If I wanted to find out what type of tax bracket I'm in, where would I go to find the different type of tax brackets?
IRS.gov.
Say it again.
IRS.gov.
Okay. Okay.
In the search bar, you can type in tax bracket and it'll bring up all the tax brackets for you.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's good. That's good. You've been real informative, sis, and I really appreciate you taking time out to
Oh, no
educate
problem.
us today. Even my brother Richard Davis said he didn't know that you can get credit for events. So I'm sure he'll be talking to you because you know him really well. So
My daughters know I talk about it all the time in the meetings, so maybe, yeah. Tell them we'll talk offline.
yeah, that brother Rich, she said she'll holler at you offline. Good, good. You're really helping us out. I'm just checking to make sure we haven't missed any questions because I know you're working and you know you pull a double duty on it, and we really appreciate you taking time. I see your email address. I'm gonna say it just so people are having in case they want to email you. Uh, all for you bookkeeping. That's one word. All for the number four. All for the letter U, not YOU, all for you bookkeeping at gmail.com. Once again, that's
Yes, sir.
all for you bookkeeping at gmail.com. And I know that your schedule is pretty full, so if you wanted Miss Jackie to do your taxes, send her an email, and if she have time, she'll be more than happy to do it. But just be aware, she is a busy young lady, so her calendar is full with doing taxes. As I read in her bio, she's done over 300 personal tax filing and over 100 business tax filing. So, you just don't wake up and turn and do that. So she's on it. So if you have time, you not don't want to do the extension because she just said what happens if you do the extension. Just reach out to her. Miss Jackie, give us the top three things to know about taxes as we wrap up. The top three things. I know you mentioned earlier a couple of things, but just top three things when we file taxes that we really need to be aware of.
IRS sucks. Penalties and interest are outrageous. It would be better that you would pay what you owe off with a credit card and use that interest than using paying their penalties and interest. That's free advice.
Okay.
Also, not only if they want me to do their taxes, but if they need any kind of advice, they can email me.
Okay.
Not just for tax services, but advice as well.
Okay.
I'm here to help the community and help people. I do a lot of nonprofits taxes. I do a lot of the nobles tax returns and stuff. So when they're the temples and stuff, so they don't have to pay people to do them. But the top three things, biggest things starting off before tax season, make sure your W-4 and your VA-4s, or if you're in another state, your state tax forms are filled out correctly. Make sure you're not checking in an exempt box.
Hmm.
Make sure you're reviewing your pay stubs to see that taxes are coming out. A lot of people get direct deposit, they never see their pay stub. Request pay stubs, pay attention to them. You
Okay.
need to make sure that a minimum of 10% federal taxes are coming out of your check. Next important thing is gather your information. Don't rush to do your taxes. Make sure you got your interest statement from your banks, from your brokers. And then if you have charity, sit down, take your time and fill out all your charity expenses because believe it or not, people give to charity that they don't think or think it's enough. But every time you go somewhere and you're dropping $5 in a bucket or 20 bucks, it adds up. So take your time, get all your documents together. Another big thing that we did not go over is your children in college.
Okay.
You have their 1098-T from the college. Because if you file taxes and you missed forms and you have to amend them, that's when you throw a red flag to the IRS. And
Okay.
that's when they'll start looking at you if you're doing amendments. So you file fast to get this quick money. Now you owe us money back, and they're going to charge you interest and penalties. So
Mm,
just make sure you have all your documents together before you file.
okay.
Um, and the fourth thing, or the third thing, I know some people like extension, they don't want to pay to the end. I get it, but it's not a good thing because your penalties and interest have backdated.
Okay.
So get them done, get on the phone and get a payment plan if you can't afford to pay them right there. At least you're not getting the penalty for not filing on time. You're just
Okay.
going to get it for the taxes owed.
Okay.
So that would be the top three things.
Okay, thank you. And before I let you go, I know you're busy during the tax season, but after tax season, if people have questions, are they able to email you for the questions so they'll be ready for next year?
Oh, yes, they can email me during tax season. I multitask. Anytime, any questions, I'm open to help them.
Okay, okay. Well, Miss Jackie, I really appreciate you taking time out today. You've been very informative. You've given us so much to think about, especially some things we didn't even know that we can claim. And we really appreciate you taking time. So, on behalf of my president, Stephen Kuther, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Beta Sigma Chapter, and all the brothers and everyone that attend this virtual hour, we want to say thank you, and thank you. And for just one more time, I'm gonna give her email address out. It's all for the number four, you, the letter U, all for you bookkeeping at gmail.com. All for you bookkeeping, that's one word, at gmail.com. So once again, thank you, sis. We really appreciate you. And if there's anything that Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated Beta Sigma Chapter can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask. We're more than willing to step up and assist you in any way that we can.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invite. And if you ever need anything, you need help with your nonprofit tax returns, hit me up.
Well, do, sis. We appreciate you. You have a good evening and a better week.
You too.
All right,
Bye
talk
bye.
to you later.